Amanda, your man's making that horrible noise again. Make him stop!
So, Wreck-Gar is quite an unusual fella, isn't he? Voiced by the comedic legend Eric Idle, he made quite an impression in the Transformers universe with his fabulous facial hair and use of trash TV quotes to communicate. Bearded and makes references to trash TV shows. That could just as easily be a description of myself. Except my blood pressure is so high, if I were to get a paper cut, blood would spray out of me like a pressure washer. Anyway, I've always had a soft spot for the Junkions. Despite living on a rubbish tip floating through space, they always seem quite happy, don't they? The Junkions know they live in abject filth, but they're always down for a wee party, eh? Like my pal in his wee student flat back in the day. I can still taste the white lightning cider and smell the carpet covered in buckfast, cigarette butts, and every type of bodily fluid. That truly was the best of times, and probably the start of my alcohol problems. Wreck-Gar first appeared in the Transformers the movie, emerging from a pile of rubbish and smiling creepily at our Autobot heroes like an absolute sex pest. After Ultra Magnus exploded like an absolute loser, Wreck-Gar and the Junkions attacked the grieving Autobots, presumably because they were so offended by Ultra Magnus's shite attempt to open the Matrix. Seriously, Magnus would have tried to use the Matrix if his Greg's steak bake was cold. Truly our darkest hour. My arse. Anyway, after a brief but fun battle, Hot Rod, Cup and the Dinobots arrived in their novelty butt plug ship, gave Wreck-Gar a wee sweetie, and everyone had a dance to celebrate. Great stuff, and a prime example of why I love this movie so much. Shall we look at a wee toy then? This is Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar, and he's perfect. Good night, everyone. Now, we'll check him out, won't we, What a boy we have here. He is so good. I really can't imagine how Hasbro could have improved in this wee smasher. Look at his head. It's as if he just jumped out of a movie screen in 1986. I love his wee Fu Manchu beard. When I was a wee guy, I always wondered, what is this made from? Is it metal? Is it hair? Does Wreck-Gar have to shave? Truly important questions. I don't care if it was Skywarp or Bombshell that became Cyclonus. I just wish they would have done a full episode on Wreck-Gar's morning grooming routine. One thing you would never have thought you needed in life is posable nipple guns. After seeing them though, I don't want to live in a world without them. Wow, what a mental design. Even for the Transformers. I'm looking at you, big convoy. I suppose no one would ever expect to be shot by nipple lasers, so I'm sure these are quite effective in battle scenarios. Everything on Wreck-Gar looks bloody amazing. The colour palette used here is so accurate for a mustachioed TV talking trash man. I love how you can accessorise him with his spiky wheels, making them a rather fetching shield or a fancy trouser brooch. I love this wee melee weapon he comes with. It's like one of those wee handheld windmill things you used to get when you were wee. I love the thought of Wreck-Gar going for a wee walk in a field on a windy day, just living his best life, enjoying his wee windmill while he laughs maniacally at a random goat. I'm living for these wee knuckle dusters on Wreck-Gar's hands and these wee red spikes jutting out of his arms and legs. Although the spikes may make him struggle getting through doors or putting on a jumper or a pair of trousers, he certainly looks like he's ready for battle. Plus, if he overexerts himself, he can keep some wee snacks in his hip-mounted lunchboxes. He also has an outie belly button, which is nice. Big Wreck-Gar is right up there with Kingdom Cyclonus in the best looking boys ever category. Wreck-Gar is a mini masterpiece and I bloody love him. Wreck-Gar looks so good you wouldn't think he could transform, would you? He can, so you're just dead wrong there. Why don't you just leave the reviewing to me? You always think you know everything, don't you? Jesus. Anyway, Wreck-Gar turns into this lovely, scrappy motorbike. It's pretty great. I can really imagine this being cobbled together from bits and pieces of junk to make this ramshackle motorcycle. His fuel tank reminds me of every shirt I wore in the early 2000s. What a great time for fashion that was. The motorcycle is a solid wee thing. It is essentially Wreck-Gar doing a yoga pose, holding one wheel with his hands and squishing the other between his knees, but it works surprisingly well. It's held together with these wee tabs that peg into his feet, which doesn't look like it would work, does it? But it does. So again, just goes to show what you know, eh? The back of his robot head has all the motorcycle dials on it and that. It's some great detail. Unlike Wreck-Gar's original toy, his head doesn't actually make up the front of the motorcycle. Instead, his head is on this terrifying stalk that pokes through the actual motorcycle front, which is cleverly folded up inside Wreck-Gar's chest. Great transforming right there. It certainly is far superior than Wreck-Gar's G1 toy, which looks like he's trying to win a who has the biggest hat competition. He really reminds me of Mayor McCheese. A great thing about this op mode is that all your other wee fellas can ride Wreck-Gar. Look, here's Optimus riding Wreck-Gar. Oh yeah, here's Hot Rod riding Wreck-Gar. Yeah, ride him good, Hot Rod. Ride him. Here's G-Axis just riding the fudge out of Wreck-Gar. Yeah, ride him. Everyone ride him, you wee slut Wreck-Gar. The only time I've seen someone get ridden so much was on that naughty website I look at in the night times for the fuzzy tingle times. You rhymed the old crack fox. What a great fella he was, eh? So, should you get Studio Series 86 Wreck-Gar? Yes, the boy is bloody perfect and likely the best representation of the mustachioed motorcycle man we'll ever get. I really don't know how you can make this any better without creating an AI version of Eric Idle to put in him. Then he could actually be a wee pal for you. Of course, you then run into the ethical implications of placing a sentient AI into a figure that's going to sit on your shelf, eventually gathering dust and being forgotten about as you get newer fellows and put them in front of him. It'd be an existential nightmare brought to life, like if Kafka had wrote Toy Story. I'm sure it'd be good for a giggle for a few hours at least. Anyway, you guys have a great night. Catch you later.